What's going on, everybody? This is the Father Son Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Justin.
And my name is Sam.
Paul is not here. He's on vacation, and he told me to FaceTime him during this podcast, but I'm not going to have him FaceTime in the middle of a Disney park. So he's here with us, I guess. I'll have like the same idiotic statements.
In spirit, and I'll take up the mantle of just making fun of you the whole time.
Hey, he wants it to happen. He made sure he told me to tell you to, you gotta like give it to me. He said, don't let me off.
Did you set your lineup? Did you set your lineup against him?
I'm 0-5 this year against my dad.
Oh my God!
I didn't set my lineup. I didn't set it. I did. I kind of like I had no one else to put in because everyone got injured. So I was like, I'm not gonna win, and he's taking it. He's 5-0 against me. So you could go ahead and be my dad and just go.
Man, listen. All the young kids don't know everything. It's because you're in college and you think you know everything. Doesn't mean you know anything, bro.
I know I'm very bad at this whole fantasy.
0-5. 0-5.
I'd be having to keep saying the same thing.
0-5.
He's gonna have it like
you didn't lose. You lost to the old man 5 times this year.
Yeah, I did.
You're not good at fantasy football.
Not this year. Because the one year I do a podcast, it just turns out to be like my worst year possible. I'm in the Listener League Championship, though. I did make that happen. And how did your SFB8 go?
Guess what?
What?
I'm in the final, baby. I'm in the final. Top 15, son.
Top 15 out of 950 or something like that.
900. Yep, 900 entries. Wow. Top 15.
Next year, we're going to be up there with you.
We'll see.
We got Paul. He's never wrong.
Paulie.
I'm going to have him draft the whole team.
And then I think I'm in 3 other championships this year. $2,000-ish on the line.
Hey, take them all home.
I would love it.
Last weekend we had a bet, you and I. It was Mullins or Foles. I was wrong.
Who did I take?
Though. You took Mullins. You said Mullins was in for a prime matchup because he threw for 400 yards against the Seahawks.
He actually did. He looked really good against the Seahawks. Foles actually did look good too.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Jared Goff though. I think he's got 7 turnovers in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I don't know what the Rams offense they're pulling the Saints offense right now. They're both like struggling, and that game wasn't pretty at all. You saw Jared Goff.
Nope.
Yeah, and then you got Drew Brees in that Cam Newton game. Look, that was an awful game to watch.
Oh, by the way, on that game, I lost. I did something stupid, and I actually started a guy that I said to sit in my article, and I lost by, I think it was like 1.5 points, and really all I needed was that final pass to Ian Thomas. All I needed him to do was catch it, and I would have been in a 5th final. I am so irritated at myself because the rest of my tight ends on my bench outscored Ian Thomas this week. I did it. I did a stupid thing this week.
Wow. That happened. Dang. That's not good. That's the worst way to lose. I talked about that before. I'd rather lose by like 60. I'd rather get blown out than have like that tiny thing. You've been like,
and like I said, the most irritating thing, it was he literally had the chance. Now, it wasn't a good pass, but I still think it should have been caught by Ian Thomas. Yeah. Regardless, it was like, it was there. Like, had he caught that, I would have been in a championship.
Wow. Yeah, that game was just awful, both offensive sides. I didn't think it was like any big defensive plays that really happened. It was just the offenses both looked so awful. I don't know what happened to the Saints play calling. The Rams are starting to get figured out. The Eagles have a chance.
Yep, and they have I'm gonna say a bad word. They have Big Dick Nick coming. Yeah, maybe that's how they win though. They get Carson Wentz through most of the season.
Told you. He gets
and
hurt.
Then they hand it over to Nick Foles at the end of the season and into the playoffs, and that's how they win.
He's got the power. I don't know what it is. I told you. Can't count this guy out. He looked bad in the beginning of the year, but as soon as he gets like the chance after Carson Wentz gets injured, as well. Fantasy points, he had 12. He had no touchdowns, but he had 270 yards, and he had some big plays down the stretch. But you don't get points for big plays.
Nope.
I will say that one team in Dynasty League, my dad and I had to face, the overpowered one that we showed you. We took him down.
Yeah, because they have there's been a lot of stuff going around on Twitter this week about, we should change up the format of playoffs. It should be something about points scored. I can't remember exactly what it was, like all play record or something. And I wholly disagree. This is exactly why we play fantasy football.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able. I mean, I've always said it's 25% skill, 75% luck when it comes to fantasy football. And guess what? All the big players, Gurley, Saquon, Cam, Drew Brees, threw up duds this week and hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not me, though.
Not you.
Because I pick better players than everybody else. I got CMC and Kamara on my side everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of CMC, but I traded for CMC.
That dude, he has quickly climbed into a top 5 dynasty running back, playing like 100% of snaps. It's like ludicrous.
Yeah.
How much he's playing.
It's an insane amount. I was surprised. Most of my drafts happened before preseason week 2, unfortunately. I wasn't able to like see the usage and like get the trend. And I was like decently high on him before. I was like I had him top 10, but like I moved him after I saw the usage top 8. And I wish I was like as high on him as I was in the draft. But
and I think a lot of people were just down on him because they have C.J. Anderson and he only got 100 and I think it was like 125 carries or something like that.
Wow. Yeah,
but
C.J. Anderson.
I mean, he bulked up. Ron Rivera was throughout the offseason was saying, well, we're going to give him more work.
It's hard to decipher all that coach talk. You don't know if it's real or not, but
I mean, the fact remains is whether he wasn't efficient as a runner. So even if he got an uptick in efficiency and a slight uptick in touches, and I was saying like going from like 115 to 140 carries, you're still talking about a top 10 running back this season. So and the other thing was I didn't believe Greg Olsen was going to come back the same. Because of that foot injury. We've seen so many issues with foot injuries in the past, especially with like guys like Julio Jones, who it's just a nagging thing. And sure enough, we get back and he had an issue at the beginning of the season, and then he had another issue for more of a compensation injury than anything. Now he's on the IR. So it's just, and this is more of an off-season topic, but it's just pay attention to what the situation is. Pay attention to everything: contract situation, injury situation.
Yeah, we're gonna have an episode coming up about like things that we gotta like pay attention to more. I guess like the way to fix our process.
Right.
I think we're gonna do that.
And that's why I like for me, like Patrick Mahomes. That's why I got it right because
you saw the weapons around
of the process. Yeah,
you saw that Alex Smith can do that good, man. I didn't think Alex Smith was that good of a quarterback.
Right.
You were higher on him than I was.
But we need to get past this season. So let's do start sits.
Let's do start sits. So quarterbacks, I don't want to do a lot of quarterbacks this week because most of the time you're starting your studs. The people who have bad matchups, Jared Goff, Arizona, or do you have like guys you can start over him? People can find in waiver wires this season, I guess. Mitch Trubisky, I'm putting Mitch Trubisky over him, or Josh Allen too. Both those guys over.
Who does? Yeah, I don't know about Josh Allen
at San Fran, and then Josh Allen goes against New England, who's 24th against the pass.
Yeah, I think the thing with Josh Allen is usually Belichick can scheme guys out, but Josh Allen's running is not a planned thing at all. It's generally a broken play and he runs. So I think you just have a decent floor. Like him and Lamar Jackson, it's hard to sit because they have that rushing floor.
Yeah.
Actually, Matt Williams from FF Statistics. We were having an argument last weekend because I actually said start Derek Carr over Aaron Rodgers, and he was getting angry at me because he was like, regardless of if you're right, that's the wrong process. But I don't know if I wholly agree with that because Aaron Rodgers was playing the Chicago Bears last week while Carr was playing the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
And while Aaron Rodgers is head and shoulders above Carr in terms of talent, the matchup was huge, or the matchup difference was huge. The Bengals are, I believe, the worst or second worst against quarterbacks this season. The Bears are like top 3, top 5. So, and this is another process talk. You have and Rodgers hasn't been the same this season. They just had a coaching change. So there's a lot of things working against Rodgers this season.
Yeah.
And whether Carr's bad or not, his matchup was great. And guess what? Carr and Josh Allen were both better than Rodgers this week.
Josh Allen is straight up better than Aaron Rodgers. This far into the season.
Word.
Top 5 quarterback of this era. Now, Josh Allen, for
right.
fantasy purposes, is just, he's, I guess, I wouldn't say upper echelon, but.
Right. He has, I think in the last 5 weeks, I believe he has been QB1. I'd have to look back at that. But he's been, I've heard the stat, he's been QB1 over the past 5 weeks or so.
Last 4 weeks, he's number 1 quarterback in fantasy football.
There you go.
Wow.
And that's not saying much about him as a passer because he hasn't been passing the ball well. I think the maximum yards was like 221 yards.
Yeah, he's got 801 yards over the past 4 games through the air. For perspective, Rivers has 1,000 plus. Brady has 1,200.
Yeah. So you're talking about an average of 200 yards a game, so he's not looking good. Okay, I shouldn't say not looking good. He's not looking great as a passer. He looks okay as a passer. He's got some of those long throws. Mm-hmm. By the way, you're welcome for Robert Foster, whomever listened to us.
Talk about him. Hey, you helped me and my dad, I guess, win the matchup. I saw guys on the waiver wire. It was dynasties for something many, but both McKenzie and Foster were there, and I liked both of them. But Foster's touchdown.
Yes. Whether there's regression or not, Foster over the last 5 weeks, I believe, has 94 more yards and 4 of 5 and 2 touchdowns. But so yeah, Allen doesn't look great as a passer, but his rushing ability, his rushing floor makes him extremely viable. And like you heard, he's QB1 over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, so I'm starting Allen.
I know it's tough to start him, but at the same time, it's like it's tough to sit him at the same point. It's just he's gonna run, and he's probably gonna get you a floor of 7+ points, and has an upside of 14+ points with a rushing touchdown.
You like Brady more than him this week? Same game.
I hate Brady this year. Brady, like Rodgers, has just had an off year. He's had his good games, but he's also had some terrible games. And I believe he is not even a QB1 this season.
I think he's on the brink of it.
Now that's not saying much, and I've talked about this before, is that quarterback this season's very odd just because there's the scoring's up and passing's up. Like guys that would have been QB1s last season you're sitting at like high end or mid-tier QB2s.
Yeah. Brady's the 13th quarterback this year. And Rodgers
is this says 12th. Rodgers is 11th. So you're talking about 2 guys who are generally top 5 that are on the bottom part of the QB1, and that's because passing's up. You have Patrick Mahomes, Andrew Luck's back, Jared Goff took a step forward this year.
The passing touchdowns for Mahomes, like 11 more than second place. That's insane. I don't know. Mahomes, keep doing Mahomes. You're not sitting Mahomes championship week.
Well, and here's the other thing. Rodgers has a 23-2 touchdown interception ratio. Brady has a 24-9. You're talking about guys that would have been high-end QB1s as early as last season or as late as last season. So I think this speaks volumes to late-round quarterback.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes to late-round quarterback right now.
Definitely does. Like Rivers was outside top 12. He's number 6. Luck was kind of like falling out. And we had James Cole on our episode, and I was saying my bold take was that Andrew Luck finishes top 4 quarterbacks. And he was saying he didn't know if he could get behind that because of the whole shoulder surgery. But like right now, Luck is number 4.
I mean, that was super risky just because we had no idea what he was going to look like. And even in that first game, they had that Hail Mary, and they had to bring in Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, that scared me. I was like, oh, no.
It was just like, but he's proven us all wrong. And and this is another dynasty topic. I think he's climbed back into that probably top 3 quarterback for dynasty.
Top 3, I say top 2.
Well, so it's a debate.
Yeah, well, that's another.
Patrick Mahomes is my number 1, but we can go into that in the offseason.
This is for off-season dynasty podcast, and then one last start sit for quarterbacks because I think most of often not you're starting your studs. Starting Andrew Luck with a matchup this week, starting Breeze with his matchup against Pittsburgh, but Rivers, he's been doing good for owners. My dad loves Rivers, so he'd probably say start him. But he's got Baltimore this week, and there's not a lot of streaming options available. But if you have Lamar Jackson. Are you playing Lamar Jackson, who's against the Chargers, who are second against the pass? Or are you playing Phil Rivers? Both same matchup. I didn't realize that. But yeah.
They're second against the pass.
Yeah.
In terms of what?
It's fantasy points. Second against quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, they're third. Yeah. Well, they're third the last 5 weeks. That's tough. I'm saying Jackson just because of floor. Baltimore, I mean, is just behind the Chargers in terms of their against the quarterback.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate right there to floor. I like that.
I mean, that's really tough. So on the season, Baltimore's actually second against the pass in terms of fantasy points per game. The Chargers are sixth. So that's a tough one. I'm personally going Lamar Jackson because of rushing floor.
If it's a 6-point passing touchdown league, I'm going Philip Rivers, I believe.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. 6-point passing touchdown, you're probably going Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
If it's 4-point, I would be going Lamar Jackson.
Tough. I mean, because especially if like you're like my dad and you like Philip Rivers, he's been doing good for you all year.
Oh yeah,
benching him in your championship game. He got people like, oh, he got you there, but like you gotta think it's not like a season-long game; it's a week-to-week game.
Yeah, I just Rivers doesn't have the ceiling that Lamar Jackson does in terms of fantasy points, just because he can pass the ball, but he's not running the ball, and this Baltimore defense has been very good.
Very, very good.
So yeah, I think that's a good caveat. If it's 6-point passing touchdown, you're probably going Rivers. 4-point, you're probably going Jackson. The other thing is Keenan Allen's hobbled. It seems like he's going to play, but I don't know how effective he is.
Could be a decoy.
So yeah, I just, but he also has Gordon back. I don't know. I'm personally going with my gut, and I'm going Lamar Jackson just because of that rushing floor.
Yeah.
I would rather get like a solid 20 points than risk getting like a single digit game from Rivers because of that passing defense from Baltimore.
Yeah, for sure. And now on to running backs. My friend had a good question. He said Chris Carson or Tariq Cohen. I went Carson just because they faced against Kansas City, and Cohen's got San Fran. And I don't know. Cohen's been iffy. I feel like they haven't really used like their offense that much. I feel like it's their defense winning games. They've had low scoring affairs past 2, I think, affairs.
Right. So. Well, and so I mean, Seattle, regardless, I mean, they've been kept themselves in games. That defense is okay. They're not the Legion of Boom, but they've been good this year. Kansas City on the season is third against running backs in terms of fantasy points per game. They've given up the third most points to running backs. So it's just, we know Seattle's going to run the ball. They're going to split it a little bit, but Carson gets the majority of the carries.
Yeah.
Cohen, I don't know. Cohen has been awesome this season. He has been very efficient. He is I believe a top. He's RB12 on the season in terms of fantasy points. Yeah, but he just doesn't get a ton of touches. He does have 85 targets on the season, which is great.
That's great. I don't think they're going to be passing that much against San Fran. I think they're just going to blow them out of the water so early on. I think that the rushing floor is more there for Chris Carson, obviously, but Cohen has the ability to break a long touchdown because of his speed and athleticism. So if I'm playing numbers, I'm going Carson. Last 2 weeks have been doing well too.
Yeah, I think I am too because of the Kansas City matchup. But I will say this: if it's PPR, I might lean Cohen. If it's standard, I would go Carson.
We're split.
Yeah. Well, but here's the other thing. The 49ers have been, over the last 5 weeks, have been 6th worst against running backs in terms of fantasy points per game.
There's also that. I don't have the splits in front of me. Kansas City has been doing better, like you said.
Yeah, right now they're, I think, 15th or 16th over the last 5 weeks. Yeah. So maybe it is Cohen.
Yeah, I'll go Carson.
But Carson last week against the San Francisco 49ers, 22 carries for 119 yards. Is
that going to be Jordan Howard, though?
No. Jordan Howard's been awful this season. Super inefficient.
It was very unexpected for me. I was originally off on him, and then I got back on him. back on him.
All right, so here, over the last 5 weeks, the lowest amount of carries that Carson has is 13. The lowest fantasy points has been 10.8, and that's in that 13 carry game.
It's a good floor.
So yeah, it's. I don't really know how I subscribe in championship.
I'm going.
You might almost go ceiling with Tariq Cohen.
Yeah, I mean, I can make a case for either or for ceiling though. I know you saying.
I think ceiling and like I said, so in PPR I would go Cohen probably. Standard, I think you're going Carson just because you're going to get that 15 plus carries.
Yeah.
But I think the game script is also a little bit rough, as Kansas City could be blowing out Seattle if they're throwing the ball. And Chicago could be blowing out the 49ers. So you're picking tough questions here, bud.
Very tough. Yeah. I think
I'm gonna I think that's how you split it. I think it's standard you go Carson, Tariq Cohen for PPR, and then coin flip at 0.5 PPR. Half point PPR.
Yeah. The last 3 games Cohen has had 24 targets, so he had 14 against the Giants. But his lowest total has been 4, and that's week 14. But he still had, he'll put up points. So I guess PBR here going Cohen. Tough though.
Like he's got 85 targets on the season. Like he's getting targeted. He's one of I think he might have the most targets on the season for the Bears. So I think you have to go Cohen PPR.
Yeah.
I even might go Cohen half point PPR.
I go. It's tough. I think I go Carson half point PPR because I don't know the rushing floor. I feel like he's getting at least 3 targets. All right, Damian Williams or Jalen Samuels?
Samuels.
You're going Samuel. I'm going Williams.
Like, listen, I think Ware's healthy. I think they're gonna split the workload there. And I don't know if James Conner is playing.
James Conner, I don't think is playing. I think he said he's
doubtful. So if James Conner isn't playing, it's absolutely Samuels. Regardless of New Orleans Saints, like here's the thing: New Orleans Saints are good at 2 things on defense: stopping tight ends and stopping the run. But Pittsburgh involves their running backs so heavily in their offensive game, especially in the pass game. I can't sit a Pittsburgh running back. But the other aspect is KC should be probably splitting touches between Spencer Ware and Damian Williams.
I think Damian Williams won that job last week. Spencer Ware didn't do anything the week before. They brought.
He did something.
Yeah, they didn't look good. They brought back in Kendrick West. But little did they know Damian Williams is a beast.
Does that really scare you, Kendrick West?
For Spencer Ware, kinda. I don't know. He didn't look good.
It would scare me for Damian Williams more than anything.
No, Damian Williams looked good last week.
That's fine, but Kendrick West is more of the pass catching back.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he just split with Ware, like you said, but I think, I guess not against Samuels, but you starting Damian Williams this week, or you don't like him at all? That's the question.
I think if you have to, I just think there's got to be better options out there.
Yeah.
Like, Kalen Ballage is actually an option this week.
Oh, Sam, don't say that. We're going against him in the championship.
But, think about it, though. Derrick Henry ran all over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, Drake's still there. I do think Ballage, since Fagore's out, he's going to get some work.
Did you see how many touches Drake got last week?
Not a lot.
He got like 4.
Yeah.
That speaks something on I can't remember his name now. Head coach Adam Gase. He hates Drake for some reason, even though Drake's super dynamic.
It'd be your own coaches. It's not even the whole, I guess, players. Most of the time it's coaching. I've seen it with Aaron Jones. Not anymore. Right. But coaches don't use players.
Or there's another one, Jamal Williams, if he's available. Is a good option this
Jamal
week.
Williams, or are you playing Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry is so alluring right now because it's like they're just running smash mouth football.
They should. He can't tackle that guy in the open field.
No, and that's the thing with Derrick Henry is he's not going to create his own yards, but you get him into the second level, he's like impossible to bring down.
Impossible, but like he's not going to find his own holes. You got to make that hole for him.
Derrick Henry actually has a good matchup this week. So if you go to sportsavermetrics.net and look at the advanced start sit app, he's got a 71 matchup in terms of his rush matchup this week, which is really good. It's on a scale of 0 to 100. So I might be doing Derrick Henry this week.
I like Derrick Henry too.
I still think Williams. I'm starting like guys like Williams and Ballage in third place and championship games this week because I had guys go down. But yeah, I want to go back to Ballage real quick. They gave him a lot of touches last week. And if you're hurting and we're bouncing all over the place. If we're talking about like the Kansas City Chiefs running backs and they're going to be splitting carries, I'd almost be tempted to start Ballage just because of the volume. Let's look at what really he did last week.
He had 129 yards, I believe, rushing. It's 130, no, 129, I think it was. 123 yards rushing and a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't have touches in front of me, but 12 carries. There it is. 12 carries.
12 carries, 123 yards, and a touchdown.
Wow.
And it was against a good Minnesota defense.
Yeah, and Gore was averaging 11.1 carries a game. So if you give him even that, he's explosive. So
yeah, and Jacksonville's offense isn't good, so it's probably going to be a tight game.
Yeah, probably use the run to open up the. I could see Ballage. I guess I can get on board with it. I don't know if I do it, but I can definitely.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's just one of those. That's a risky one. But with KC splitting carries, they don't have a great rushing matchup.
No, it's not. It's mid tier.
It's tough.
Yeah, I think depending on how the rest of your lineup looks, if you need an upside play,
I think Ballage is the way to go. If you need like, I think I can see Damian Williams getting like that 10-point PPR floor, which is fine. And if you need those kind of solid points, sure. But I think that's right. If you need the upside play, I would be going with Ballage.
Yeah. And then last start set for running backs is Jordan Howard or Deion Lewis.
Oh God.
Yeah, one Chicago Bears is at San Fran and Deion Lewis is going against Washington. PPR I'm going Deion Lewis and standard I'm going Jordan Howard. I think that's how I'm doing.
Has Deion Lewis even gotten that many
as of recent? No
targets.
As of recent, well,
he had 3 last week for 9 yards
and 5 for 39 a week before, so he's getting targets.
God, I'm probably going Howard. Just because, like you said, it could end up being them getting ahead early and Howard running out the clock. He's still been getting carries, like double-digit carries. He's just not doing a ton with them.
Yeah, not really at all efficient on the ground. Like he's just been really disappointing this year.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to Howard. Well, I think that's right. I think it's Howard standard, Deion Lewis PPR.
Gotcha. All right, on to wide receivers now. Everyone's favorite, Robbie Anderson. Or are you starting your boy Robert Woods?
I'm always starting Robert Woods. Get out of here.
Always. All right. Robbie Anderson or Julian Edelman?
Give me Edelman for the PPR upside.
And then Anderson or Alshon Jeffrey?
Who does Philadelphia play this week? Houston. Actually, not a bad pass matchup.
26th against the wide receiver this year, according to 4for4.com. Anderson as Green Bay was 28th.
Yeah, but I would trust Houston or Philly's offense more than I trust the Jets. So yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go with Alshon. I do not like Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. He's not an easy one to like because it is Robbie Anderson. He hasn't done crap all year except for as of recently. But
And maybe it's just Darnold getting more comfortable.
he's had 25 targets.
He had 11. He had 11 targets last.
25 targets in the last 3 games. 5 red zone targets in the last 2. And then Green Bay's
Includes
secondary.
Buffalo.
Yeah, Green Bay's secondary is hurt. He's going to be lined up against Jair Alexander, who is predominantly in man coverage, and Anderson has the highest average at the target versus man, and versus nearly all routes, Alexander allows 13.8 yards per target. That's per Debro. FF. Yeah, B. Yeah, Debro. Watching the show.
That's actually, I mean, he's got 18 target. Yeah, he's got 25 targets the last 3. He didn't do much in that against Tennessee, but the last 2 weeks, including Buffalo, God, that's rough.
Yeah.
But I think Foles trusts Alshon a lot.
Yeah, I see that too. Definitely. I think you got to get the edge to Jeffrey just for the floor play. I think Anderson's a ceiling play. But
yeah, I think I'll agree with that. It just seems like Darnold's getting more comfortable throwing the ball down the field. Yeah. And like you said, Green Bay is a decent matchup in terms of against wide receivers.
Yeah.
Let's look at this real quick. Let me just verify.
Green Bay.
I mean, they're ninth. They're ninth the last 5 weeks in terms of fantasy points. Well, that's not true because I need to go to PPR. They're 10th the last 5 weeks. On the season, they're 6th. So yeah. Like I said, I think I trust Alshon more, but if you're going and maybe you need to in the championship go for ceiling plays, you might want to go Anderson.
I go Anderson over Keenan Allen just because of the uncertainty and Baltimore's defense.
I think I would agree with that actually.
And then I want to do a couple more.
I know a lot of people are going to hate that. Oh, start your studs, but I don't think it's ever that simple in terms of fantasy football.
No. All right, we're gonna do a couple rapid fire ones to get more players out there. So your boy last week was Demaryius Thomas. What about D.D. Westbrook or Demaryius Thomas this week? Both of our good matchups.
Demaryius had a decent game last week. Probably Demaryius.
I go Demaryius.
I can't trust Kevin Hogan. Yeah. Or it is not Kevin Hogan. It is Kevin Hogan. No, Kevin Hogan's on the Broncos. Cody Kessler. There you go. Yeah. I can't trust Cody Kessler with Jacksonville.
Yeah, no. All right, Robert Foster has been my boy, as the last 2 weeks, or Dante Pettis.
Pettis has got a rough
Pettis
matchup
against Chicago, and then Foster versus New England.
Ceiling, Foster, floor, Pettis.
Gotcha. What about Josh Reynolds or Sterling?
I don't think that helps.
That doesn't really help. Yeah, both for ceiling plays probably. So I'll go Foster. I think you ride the wave. They're both doing well though. And I said Reynolds or Sterling Shepard. Last one.
Who's gonna get the targets in New York if OBJ doesn't play? Because last week it was Ingram.
It's gonna be whoever, because they're playing for a draft pick. I hope. I don't know. It's a crap show. I think that you're going Reynolds here just because I don't trust the Giants' offense. I mean, if it goes to Shepard, I mean, there you go. Floor play, ceiling play. Ceiling play is Shepard because you could go to Shepard all targets.
I'll say this. If Patrick Peterson takes away Brandon Cooks, then it's probably got to be Reynolds.
Yeah, I could definitely see him take away Brandon Cooks. And then
it's probably I think Reynolds and Woods are more of the plays this week for the Rams in terms of their wide receivers, just because I think Patrick Peterson's going to take away Brandon Cooks a lot.
Yeah, you definitely see it. All right, we're going to go to tight ends now. Top 3 are starting Kittle, Ertz, and Kels. Ebron let me down last week. You started him this week?
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he's going to – I think all players are going to have disappointing games, but I just think Ebron gets too much volume to not play him.
Yeah, I agree. Gronk doesn't have a great matchup, but you're starting Gronk in your championship game, I think.
Ugh,
you got to. Evan Ingram, I think he's a start now. David Njoku's a start. So Austin Hooper or Vance McDonald? Hooper's got Carolina, who's 28th at tight end, and then McDonald has the Saints, who are 9th at tight end, like you said earlier.
Yeah, like I think it's got to be Hooper.
Yeah.
I like I said, I made the mistake of starting Ian Thomas last week against New Orleans, and it bit me. So go with the matchup there. It's got to be Hooper.
Gotcha. You like Cameron Brate this week at Dallas, 19th to the tight end. Not a pretty matchup. Or Kyle Rudolph, who's at Detroit, 15th to the tight end.
God. I can't. Brate's more of a touchdown person. He's not going to get the volume.
Isn't that coming when you come down to the point of like streaming tight ends? Isn't that what you're kind of hoping for? Touchdown.
Yeah. I don't. What is Rudolph hasn't done much.
I don't like
Rudolph's such an enigma. Like when he's got bad matchups, he does well. When he's got good matchups, he does poorly. So I don't know how to gauge him. So I think probably got to go Brate just for touchdown upside.
I'm going Brate. And then my favorite sleeper tight end this week is gonna be Matt Lacoste.
I agree with that. Oakland's not good against tight ends. And even if he gets you just like a 7-point floor, I think that's fine.
You got a sleeper tight end for us, Sam?
No.
I don't mind Blake Jarwin if you're really digging, but like, not pretty.
Yeah, Jarwin's tough. I mean, you could probably do Uzoma, but he just doesn't do anything with his targets.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's really frustrating. Because he gets all the targets.
So yeah,
but none.
I really like Lacoste this week. Because like you said, he's got a really tough match or a really good matchup. The Colts have actually not been great this season against tight ends, believe it or not. So who plays the Colts? So Ingram's a good one.
Yeah, Ingram, I think, is top 5 this week.
Who plays the Texans here? So you're playing Ertz, obviously. Yeah, I don't really know if there's a good one out there.
Is OBJ going to play this week?
Well, I just got a notification that he sat out again with a quad, so no, I don't think so. And there's no point to it.
Yeah, I have my dad and I have Odell, so we're starting Stephon Diggs, Robert Foster, and Allen Robinson, and we need one more for a flex. So I'm gonna give you some options right here. Send a lineup with Sam. It's not gonna be pretty, Sam. We got Traquan Smith. We could start in Dante Moncrief, Jalen Richard, Dion Lewis, Tevin Coleman, or Peyton Barber. Ugh.
God.
It's gross. We won last week without OBJ. We don't know how. Well, Robert Foster and Damian Williams. I'm starting Damian Williams, Philip Lindsay, Nick Chubb. Bad.
I almost go Jalen Richard, but I don't.
Denver.
I don't remember.
Yeah. You gotta do it sometimes. Traquan Smith.
Well, and he just gives you that and I'm assuming this is PPR. But I mean, he's RB27 on the season. Or no, wait, that was last week. He had 12.6 points.
He's a good floor. I think he's good.
He's up and down. Yeah, he's up and down. But I mean, in 4 of his last 6 games, he's gotten double-digit points. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got 9 double-digit fantasy point games this season.
He faced the Broncos week 2 and had 0.5 points.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Outlier. Maybe he comes back this game and gets, I don't know, hoping for the best.
Well, so the Broncos defense now is actually very different from the Broncos defense at the beginning of the season.
Well, yeah, they're better at pass rush.
So I think it's Richard out of that group because I don't trust anybody else in that group.
Yeah, fair enough. That's what it's done. All right, that's going to do it for this championship week start sit. We're going to have Sam back on in a week or two. We're going to do our what we got wrong this year. And hopefully, Sam, best of luck to you in all your leagues.
$2,000 richer, hopefully.
I want to see it. It's going to happen. SFB8 winner.
That'd be awesome.
We got to get you in our engravings as a co-host. No longer a guest.
As a co-host?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
You are.
By the way, check out the Dynasty Diagnostic podcast. We just released our 2nd episode. So yeah, check that out. Review us, follow us.
I'll have their Dynasty Diagnostic Twitter in the bio, and also have Sam's Twitter at FFStompy in the bio. Make sure you go check out his Start Sit article for your championship week. And my dog is back for the podcasting. Look at a whole lot of gang.
You ready? Yeah, you ready? We'll have dogs on here.
Yeah, I wish I had a husky. He's so cute. Mine just chills. We got dog podcast. We got 4 hosts. All right, that's gonna do it for this week's Start Sits. Good luck to everyone in the championship game, and hopefully you guys win, make some money, and get to have all that crap talk against your friends and stuff like that. That's probably the best part.
Do that. You're 0-5 against your dad.
Okay, I'm putting the outro music on.